Chapter 5, Lesson 6, the remainder and factor theorems. So we're going to go back a little bit here at the beginning. We're going to take a look. Let's use our synthetic division here in comparison 1 to solve. So we have this expression being divided by x minus 3. So synthetic division, we have the little box. Inside that little box is the opposite of this. So this could be a positive 3. Then I look at my exponents, so 2, 1, and 0, so we're good. Write the coefficients then, so negative 3, 5, and 4. And then I can do my division, so negative 3 comes straight down, so multiply, that gives me negative 4. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, and then this gives me a negative 8. So I can rewrite this as negative 3x minus 4 minus 8 over x minus 3. So there's my division. Now we're going to take a look at, well, what if I use substitution here? So we're going to take this f of 3. We're going to take this 3 and plug it into my x, into my equation here, in my expression. So negative 3 times 3 squared plus 5 times 3 plus 4. Well, 3 squared is 9. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. 5 times 3 is 15. And if I add those all together, I end up with negative 8. So what you notice here, and this is essentially the remainder theorem, if I plug in a negative 3 into this expression, I get negative 8. And if I look at my remainder is negative 8 when I do that synthetic division. So that's the remainder theorem. So I can use synthetic division to find the value when using substitution. Okay? So let's take a look here. So use synthetic substitution to find f of 6. So in the box goes the 6. And again, look at the exponents. 4, there is no 3, so I have to put a 0 in. 2, 1, 0. So then I can write my coefficients. So 2, filling in my 0, negative 5, 8, negative 7. Alright, so let's do our synthetic substitution now. Bring this 2 straight down, we multiply. 2 times 6, 12. Combine, 12. 12 times 6, 72. Combine, that gives me a 67. Multiply 67 times 6. Starting to get some big numbers here. 402. Combine those gives me 410. 410 times 6 gives me 2460. And subtract that by 7, and it gives me 2453 as my remainder. So f of 6 is equivalent to 2453. When I plug in 6 in for x in that expression, 2453. All right, let's do one more basic example here. So what if I want to know f of negative 1? So again, in that box goes that negative 1. Check for exponents. 5, there is no x to the 4th, so I got to put a 0. 3, 2, there's no x, so I got to put a 0, and then 0. So let's put these numbers in here. So now 4, 0, 2, 1, 0, negative 1. So now let's solve. So bring down 4, multiply. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Combine. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. Combine those, that gives me a 6. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 1 is a negative 5. Multiply by negative 1 gives me a positive. Combine, gives me a negative. And negative 1 and negative 5 gives me a negative 6. So negative 6 is my remainder there. So when I plug in f of negative 1, I should get a negative 6 out. So biggest thing again, remember with the remainder, with synthetic division, you have to put those placeholders in there if the exponents don't go in order, decreasing order. Okay. All right. So a couple application problems here. So example 3 says number of college students from the USA to study abroad, modeled by a function. So they give us this function here. X is the number of years since 1993. Find the number of students who study abroad in 2019. So how many years is 2019 from 1993, so if you're not sure, you can always subtract them. and we end up with 26. So 26 is what goes in this box here. And then I look for exponents 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So everything's good. I just write the coefficients then. 0.02, negative 0.52, 4.03, 0.09, and 77.54. So the biggest negative, sometimes these numbers get kind of big. Okay, in this case we're working with some decimals, so have your calculator handy. So this 0.02 comes straight down, and then we multiply, so I get 0.52, so this gives me 0, multiply, 4.03 times 26, gives me 104.78, so add that, this gives me 104.87, multiply that again by 26, and I get a big number here, 26.62. Combine those, and I get 2804.16. So again, here's my remainder. That's what I'm looking for. Now we're talking about students, so I can't have a fraction of a student, but so I'm going to look around that back to that whole number, 2804 students. So 2,804 students studied abroad in 2019. Alright, so here's the other thing that we can take a look at now. So using synthetic or long division, you can use either one. The remainder is 0, that means the divisor is a factor, okay? So when I know something goes evenly into something else, when I divide it, there's no remainder, okay? So that's what we're taking a look at. Is x minus 5 a factor of this expression, okay? Well, I can use synthetic division to find that out. So I'm going to put in my box, solve for the x minus 5, that puts a 5 in there. Again, check, make sure the exponents go down, 3, 2, 1, 0, we're good. Write the coefficients, so 1, negative 7, positive 7, and 15. So 1 comes straight down, we multiply by 5, 7 minus 5, or negative 7 plus 5, I'm sorry, negative 2, multiply, 7 minus 10, multiply, and that gives me a negative 15, and leaves me with a 0. So is x minus 5 a factor? Yes, no remainder, so x minus 5 is a factor. Now, what does that leave me with? So that leaves me with x minus 5, and what does this come out to? So this second part, my answer here, is going to go back in that parentheses. So 1x minus 2, I'm sorry, 1x squared, or x squared minus 2x minus 3. That's what's left. Now, can I factor that down anymore? So here we can do this, our x puzzle. A times c is negative 3, b negative 2. Factors of 3 are 1 and 3. To get a negative 2, 3 has to be negative, 1 is positive. And now this can factor into x plus 1 and x minus 3. This x minus 5 just comes straight down. So there are my 3 factors from that original expression. So again, is it a factor? Looking for 0 remainder. Once I do that, I can break it down, and then hopefully I can break down the x squared of the remainder part. Let's take a look at one more. So determine if x minus 3 is a factor of our given expression here, then find the rest. So again, so let's do long division on this one. So x minus 3, so x to the third plus 4x squared minus 15x minus 18. Again, you can do long division if you so like it. Multiply here, getting rid of our x to the third, so we need an x squared. So that gives me x to the third minus 3x squared, and we're going to subtract. So it gives me 7x squared. Bring down my negative 15x. To get my 7x squared, I'm going to have a 7 and an x. So 7x times x is 7x squared. 7x times negative 3 is negative 21x. So then we subtract. So then negative 15 plus 21, that gives me a 6x. Bring down my 18. Again, to get to 6x, I need to multiply by 6. 6 times x, 6 times negative 3, and subtract, and then that gives me my 0. So, is it a factor? Yes, it's a factor. So now, right now, I have x minus 3. So x minus 3, and my second factor right now is x squared plus 7x plus 6. So again, what can this second parenthesis break down? It can. Again, you do your x puzzle. Well, my factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Well, there's only one option to give me 7, 1 and 6. So x plus 1 and x plus 6, and then bring down my original x minus 3 factor. And there's my 3 factors for x to the third. Alright, so those are your notes for 5, 6.